Hello, philosophers, tech gurus, and everyone who's ever yelled at Siri because she didn't understand your request for the nearest pizza place. Today, we're diving into a topic that's as mind-bending as The Matrix and as thought-provoking as an episode of Black Mirror. We're exploring the wild world of artificial intelligence and philosophy. This isn't just for the tech whizzes or philosophy buffs out there. No, this is for everyone who has ever paused mid-conversation with Alexa and wondered, wait, how does she know that? Or for those of you who've seen a self-driving car and thought, hold on, how does it know where to go? Or even for those who've been mildly terrified by how accurately YouTube recommends videos. Yes, we're talking about you, the person who fell into a rabbit hole of watching 80s music videos at 2 a.m. So grab your robot best friend, or just your smartphone, sit back, and let's delve deep into the philosophical conundrums of artificial intelligence. Don't worry, we promise it's less scary than Skynet and more fun than a Turing test. Ready to have your minds blown? Let's plug in. Let's start with the basics. What is AI? If your answer is that thing that keeps beating me at chess, you're not wrong, but there's a bit more to it. It stands for artificial intelligence, but it's nothing to do with plastic brains or counterfeit geniuses. It's about machines and software mimicking human intelligence. When your chess app checkmates you for the 10th time, that's AI. AI comes in two flavors. There's weak AI, which is a system designed and trained for a particular task, like being a world champion at recognizing cat pictures. Then there's strong AI, a system with generalized human cognitive abilities. It's like if your cat picture recognizer suddenly started composing symphonies, writing sonnets about the futility of existence, and pondering the meaning of life. Now we're not there yet, but who knows? Maybe one day your Siri will have a midlife crisis. So how do we make these digital brainiacs? Well, we have a few tricks up our sleeves. One is machine learning, where computers learn from data. It's like if you became a pizza connoisseur by eating a different pizza every day. You'd start to notice patterns, like how pineapple makes a pizza, well, controversial. Then there's neural networks. No, it's not a social network for neurons or a soap opera about brain cells. It's a computing system inspired by how our brain works. Imagine a bunch of gossipy teenagers passing notes in class. One gets a note, Billy likes Sally, adds her own commentary, but Sally likes Jason, and passes it on. That's kind of like how information travels in a neural network, except the notes are mathematical values, and the gossip is about patterns in data. And when we let these neural networks loose on a lot of data, that's deep learning. Picture our gossipy teenagers in a massive school with thousands of students. The drama, the intrigue, the ability to recognize faces, understand speech, and beat humans at Go. So there you have it, the world of AI. It's a place where machines learn, neurons gossip, and your online chess nemesis reigns supreme. But remember, AI is not out to get us, it's just here to help, and maybe make us feel a bit stupid at board games. Now that we've got a handle on AI, let's tackle the big question. Can machines think? And if they can, does that mean my Roomba is judging me for not vacuuming manually? Let's dive into this. So, can machines think? It's a bit like asking if your toaster can dance. It depends on how you define dance. And just like your toaster's questionable dance moves, it all boils down to what we mean by think. Let's start with a chap named Alan Turing, a brilliant mathematician who proposed a little test to answer this question. Imagine you're texting with two friends, but plot twist. One of them is actually a computer. If you can't tell who's the machine, then according to Turing, that machine is thinking. The real question here is, if the machine responds only with cat gifs, does that make it more or less likely to be your friend? But then there's John Searle and his famous Chinese room argument. Imagine you're in a room. You don't understand Chinese, but you've got a rule book that tells you how to respond to Chinese characters slipped under the door. From the outside, it looks like you're having a fluent conversation. But inside, you're just following rules without understanding. Searle says this is what computers do. They're not really thinking, they're just following their programming. So your Roomba isn't judging you, it's just doing what it's been told, probably. But wait, there's more. Some philosophers argue that even if machines could pass the Turing test, it doesn't necessarily mean they're conscious or have minds. It's a bit like when you nod along to a conversation while daydreaming about what's for dinner. You might seem engaged, but really you're just thinking about pizza. So, can machines think? Well, it's a bit of a brain twister, isn't it? and philosophers love a good brain twister. But for now, rest easy. Your Roomba probably isn't judging you, your toaster can't dance, and your chess app, well, let's just say it's not celebrating its victories with a happy dance. At least, we hope not. Next up, does AI have consciousness? If it does, I sure hope my GPS isn't sentient. It must be pretty bored of all those left turns. Does AI have consciousness? Now that's a question. It's like asking if your fridge feels cold or if your lamp is afraid of the dark. To answer this, we need to delve into what consciousness even means. And spoiler alert, philosophers haven't quite agreed on that one yet. One theory is that consciousness is about experience. It's not just about knowing facts, but having feelings and sensations. So while your GPS knows the route to the nearest pizza joint, it doesn't feel the thrill of a pizza craving, or the heartbreak when the last slice is gone. But then there's the idea of artificial consciousness. Some argue that with the right programming and complexity, a machine could have its own form of experience. Think about that for a moment. Your GPS might not just know the way to the pizza place, but it might get a kick out of taking you there, or get annoyed by all those left turns. There's also the panpsychism view that consciousness is a fundamental part of the universe, like mass or energy, so in theory, anything could be conscious. Yes, even your toaster. But before you start having deep conversations with your kitchen appliances, remember, this is just one theory among many. And besides, if your toaster was conscious, it probably wouldn't find your toast preferences that interesting. Then, there's the debate about whether a conscious machine is even possible. Can something created by humans really have an inner life? Or are we just projecting our own consciousness onto them, like when we talk to our pets and assume they understand our life problems? So, does AI have consciousness? Well, the jury's still out. But next time your GPS takes you on an unexpected detour, feel free to ask it if it's having a bad day. Just don't be too surprised if it doesn't answer. And remember, even if your GPS had consciousness, it would probably be more interested in the fastest route to the pizza place than in plotting a world takeover. At least that's what we hope. So you've got your potentially thinking, maybe conscious AI. Now what? Well, this is where it gets sticky. Welcome to the world of AI ethics, or as I like to call it, the no, you can't just program your Roomba to steal cookies for you discussion. First stop on this ethical roller coaster is Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. They're a set of rules designed to keep robots from, well, turning into Terminator. The first law, a robot can't harm a human or allow a human to be harmed. The second, robots must obey humans unless it conflicts with the first law. The third, robots must protect themselves unless it conflicts with the first or second law. Sounds foolproof, right? Well, not so fast. What happens when a robot needs to choose between letting one human get harmed or letting 5 humans get harmed? Welcome to the classic trolley problem, but with robots. This isn't just a hypothetical. Consider self-driving cars. What should they do in a situation where an accident is unavoidable? Should they prioritize the passenger, pedestrians, or try to minimize overall harm? And who gets to make these decisions? The programmers, the car owners, the government? Suddenly programming a robot butler doesn't seem so simple, does it? Then there's the question of responsibility. If an AI makes a decision that leads to harm, who's to blame? The AI, the programmers, the users? It's like blaming your dog for eating your homework, except your dog is a complex algorithm and your homework is a crucial decision. And what about the future? What happens when AIs become more integrated into our lives? What if they start making decisions about healthcare, law enforcement, or education? How do we ensure they're fair and unbiased? And let's not forget about privacy. What happens when an AI knows more about you than you do? So while the idea of a robot butler might sound appealing, remember, with great AI power comes great AI responsibility. But don't worry, we're still a long way off from needing to negotiate with your toaster for the last piece of toast, at least for now. Okay, we've covered the basics, the ethics, the consciousness, and now, the big one, the future. Will we live in a world where AI takes over like in the movies? Or will we coexist peacefully, with AI as our helpful sidekicks? Grab your crystal ball, it's time to speculate. First up, let's think about AI in everyday life. We're already seeing this, from Siri and Alexa to recommendation algorithms on Netflix. But imagine this taken further. An AI personal assistant that knows your schedule better than you, a smart home that adjusts to your mood, self-driving cars that take you to work. Sounds great, right? Unless, of course, your AI assistant decides you need a health kick and only lets you schedule gym sessions and eat salads. But what about work? Could AI take over our jobs? Well, yes and no. Some jobs could be automated, but others require a human touch. So while your future pizza might be made by a robot, there'll still be a human there to comfort you when it gets your order wrong. And who knows, with AI taking over some tasks, we might find ourselves with more free time. Finally, you'll have time to learn that guitar or master the art of origami. Then there's the biggie, the singularity, the point where AI surpasses human intelligence. Some see it as a utopia, where AI solves all our problems and we live in harmony. Others, well, they see Skynet. The truth? Probably somewhere in between. AIs could help us make huge strides in science, medicine, and more, but we'll need to be careful to keep their goals aligned with ours. We don't want an AI deciding to solve world hunger by turning us all into energy-efficient robots. And what about AI rights? If AIs become conscious, should they have rights? Should your toaster have the right to a day off, or your Roomba get paid overtime? It's a wild thought, but not completely out of the question. It's something philosophers and ethicists are already starting to ponder. So, what's the future of AI? Well, it's still up in the air. Maybe we'll live in an AI utopia, or maybe we'll have to negotiate with our toasters every morning. But whatever happens, it's sure to be an exciting ride. So buckle up and remember, be nice to your AI. You never know, it might be your boss one day. And that's it for our whirlwind tour of AI and philosophy. Remember, whether you're arguing with Siri, getting checkmated by your chess app, or wondering if your GPS has a sense of direction, it's all part of the wild world of AI. So stay curious, keep questioning, and as always, keep philosophizing. If you've enjoyed this journey into the philosophical side of artificial intelligence, don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow philosophers and tech enthusiasts. And of course, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss our next adventure into the wild world of philosophy. Who knows where we'll end up next?